This video is being done right after I replaced the carpet in the Isuzu. I was going to sell this truck and I decided to keep it a little bit longer and fix it up. It's got a sound engine, sound body, and that's more than I can say for me. But anyway, I put together 10 questions that I will answer instead of making this long and drawn out. If I were watching this, what would I want to get out of it? Why did I replace it? This truck didn't have any kind of carpet in it to begin with. It had a rubber mat that was okay. It didn't fit very good, especially it did not work very good around the accelerator pedal. I didn't have a lot of room to place my foot there. It looked kind of ugly and wonky, so I decided to fix it. What was there before? It was like I say, it was a very thick rubber mat. Okay, who did I buy the carpet from? I bought it from OC Auto Carpets. What was the quality? I think the quality of it is pretty good. This particular carpet came in 2 sections, and they fit well. It was custom for this truck. It had a good thick padding at the bottom, and then on the periphery where the carpet would go up into the firewall or under the seat, there was no padding there. Did it fit? Yeah, it fit. The width was a little close from door to door, was a little close. Lengthwise, it was fine, and I had to cut a fair amount of that off. But the fit was good, and it was molded somewhat to the contours of the vehicle. Was it hard to put in? You know, if you've done it before, it wasn't bad. The important thing is to go slow. Don't just start going at it with your knife, and go slow and be methodical. For me, it took me 2 days, but that was not working on it full time. I would put in several hours each day and went slow and made sure that I was cutting right. And because once you cut it off, you ain't gonna put it back on. What tools did I use? So, primarily, it was nothing special. The big thing is I used this knife that I got from Harbor Freight. I use this one because it's very easy to swap out blades, but have plenty of blades on hand. A good sharp blade on your knife will make cutting the carpet a whole lot easier. And actually, the hardest part of cutting is the padding underneath. But a sharp blade makes a big difference. This is the tool for interior panels and pulling out different things. But I use this to tuck the carpet in different places. The other thing I found is you don't want to cut the carpet on carpet, so that you accidentally cut through. And I use a few different things. You'll see in some of the pictures if you watch the whole video. I used a board, I used different things, but I found this to be the very best. It's an old cutting board. One other thing that I forgot to mention that was very handy was an old soldering iron. There's some of the smaller places where you need holes. It's easier to, instead of cutting it with a blade, to use an old soldering iron. Just be careful whatever you're sitting the soldering iron on, make sure you don't burn the carpet. So I used a metal tray, and then I had a board in the metal tray, and I kept the soldering iron on there when it was hot, so that the heat wouldn't transfer down through and melt the carpet. That would be a big bozo no-no. Instructions, I missed that question, but the website for this manufacturer has a lot of good tutorials. And I would recommend if you use them, or even if you don't use them, look at the tutorials that they have on the website, because it gave me a lot of insight as to how I want to approach it and how I want to attack the whole thing. What was the hardest part? For this vehicle, it it's right here around the shifter and the transfer case. Ideally, and then you would want to take these off so you don't have to mess with them. You don't have to have, it's a lot easier to cut the carpet out if you can easily detach and get rid of all the stuff that's going to be in your way. This was absolutely in my way, but this is an old truck and I did not want to take these two shifters off. So what I did is when the carpet was laying out, I did a lot of measuring and prep work. I knew that the shifter was centerline, side to side, and I found some landmarks within the vehicle and I measured back. So I measured the center line and I marked it with painter's tape. And then from the landmarks, I was able to determine about where the shifter is front to back. And that was the slowest part, was to make that initial cut and slide it on here and make sure that I was kind of in a ballpark. Because this is a pretty big hole, as you'll see on some of the pictures. These are both pretty large holes. So I knew if I was close, if I could get it in place, then I could still, I had room for error, but I wanted to start out in the ballpark. As I said, how long did it take? Took me a couple of days. You could do it in a day. But for me, I did it in two. Mainly because my back was hurting. The truck is up on jack stands right now, so it was a little high, but my back got sore. So how much did this cost? It was a little over $200. I think it was $230, and that's off the top of my head. But for me, it vastly improves the look of the vehicle. And is it perfect? Nah, it's not. But it's a whole bunch better than what it was. So after this, I took a bunch of pictures along the way. I didn't want to videotape the whole thing. This was enough of an effort just to do the carpet. I didn't want to mess with doing video. So I took pictures along the way, and I'll play that and talk through those at the end. But if you've done this, if you have any pointers maybe for others, then please leave them in the comments. If you have any questions, then let me know. Same thing, leave them in the comments, and I'll get back with you. But it was on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd give it overall. It wasn't bad, but it was a challenge. Maybe a 7, 6 or 7, something like that. But it was worth it to me. It is vastly improved over what it was. So thank you for watching. Stick around to the end. I've got a lot of pictures that show what was done, what the truck was like at the beginning, what I took out, how I marked some of the carpet, some of the tools I used in the photos. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Take care. God bless and stay safe.